Hello and welcome to Gardening at 58 North, and in this video I'm going to give you an update on my Amaryllis flower here. As you can see, it's looking really nice. It's got 2 flowers which are fully open now. The other 2 are just starting as well. This one will actually grow slightly larger as it gets older, but it's pretty much at its full size. You can see by the size of my hand it's quite big. I'm 6'4", so you can see it's quite a large thing. So I'll just rotate it now so you can see it a bit better. As I say, the other 2 flowers here are just starting to develop. They're not fully open yet. And this one on the far side is also fully open and it's looking really quite nice. And then there's the other one, the 4th one, that's just starting to open. So it's 2 sets of pairs really that it's grown. So that's why those ones have grown at the same speed and the other 2 are at the same speed as well. So it's looking really good at the moment. Very happy with the display. As I said in my last video, I thought I might be away and I might miss the bloom, but I've come back to Edinburgh for a few days, so I've managed to see the blooms, which is really nice. And also the other shoot is coming up quite good. You can see this there on the left. It's a good strong stem. They're very tall. You can see if I pan down quite how tall the plant has become. It's a very big plant. I have had it in the sunniest location I can find in my flat with the south-facing window, but still the stems have grown very tall. But you can see this is really strong, this stem. I mean, there's really solid. I can hit it quite hard, and I'm not worried about it falling over whatsoever. It's still really strong. That's the good thing about the Amaryllis. If you give it enough sunlight, even though the stems do get very tall and the flowers are very large and heavy, and you think that they might not cope with the weight, I find that they do actually tend to be strong enough. You'll find that when they start to die, when the flowers die off, the stems go soft and they do fall off quite often. But the actual stems, whilst they're flowering, are normally pretty solid. So I've had 4 flowers on this, which is good. Quite happy with the 4 flowers, and that looks really nice. And this one, I don't know if it's going to have 2 or 4 flowers or possibly more. I'll just have to wait and see. So it's a good sign if you get 4 flowers on 1 spike, because that shows that it's got plenty of vigour in the plant. If you get 2 spikes on the plant, it also shows it's got great vigour. So I could actually get a total of 8 flowers this year, which would be really good. I'm not sure. I'll have to go looking through my photos from the previous year, see if I've ever had 8 flowers on 1 plant. But I think this might be one of the best years, certainly. I think I've had slightly larger blooms, but this might be the highest number if I do get 8 blooms this year. So the plant itself is doing quite well. It's been starting to grow its leaves quite vigorously. You can see that they're looking quite healthy now. They're quite a good colour. There's a bit of a slight kind of orangey red colour to them. That's because they've had a lot of sunshine, which is a good sign. It means I've had enough. The bulb has shrunk very slightly. Not a huge amount though. It's not soft. Just shrunk very slightly as it's been using up the energy. And you can see this little piece that I said I thought was a baby one coming out is actually starting to grow leaves now. And that will cause a problem in the future because that will push against this one. There won't be enough space for the 2 of them. So I'll have to probably repot this in spring. After the flowers are finished, I'm going to see if I can take this one out and put it in its own pot, because when the 2 of them together like that, this one will grow up and it will just cause issues. So I'll try and get that out, and that'll be nice. It means I'll have a 3rd plant instead of just the 2 plants. The other plant I've got hasn't made any progress since the last video, so I haven't brought it in. Basically, it's just a tiny leaf, probably about this tall, probably about 2 centimeters. It's not showing any growth, but hopefully that will flower about the time that this finishes. So it looks like it will get quite a good long display. You can see these ones have staggered, so I've got 2 either side opening first and these 2 opening later. So as these first 2 die off, these ones should open. And then even by the time that these die off, hopefully the next shoot will be flowering. So it looks like I get quite a good long flowering period. So that's looking good. I'm very happy with my Amaryllis this year. So I think that's it for this update video. I'm not sure when I'm back in Edinburgh, but hopefully I'll do another update soon. If I can, I'll get both of these in flower on both the second one flowering on the camera. You never know, I might actually have 4 flowers on this and flowers on that flowering at the same time, but we'll see. But what I suspect will happen is these will die before that opens, but just depends how well they last. I've given it a special feed with from some company that's supposed to make the blooms last longer. I don't know if that actually works, but I've tried it, so I'll see if the blooms do last longer. If they do, then I might have them both spikes flowering at the same time. Just have to wait and see about that. So yeah, I'll try and get some photos if I'm not here for the blooming. Anyway, that's the Amaryllis. I'm very happy this year. It's putting on a lovely display. It's got a really rich, lovely red colour.